So when looking at feedback, what are we thinking about? What is it that we need to focus on when giving feedback to other people's presentations? What is it we can focus on when reflecting on our own presentations about where we could improve when we watch ourselves back? And just to give you a few pointers on that. So let's start off with eye contact. Crucially, to look at your audience, or if you're using a camera, to look into the lens of your camera and make sure things like you're not looking at the script too much, you're not gazing at the floor, not gazing at the ceiling, that you're speaking to everyone. So is that something that as an audience you've noticed from the person who's speaking, or that you yourself, when reflecting back on your presentation, can observe about what you've done? So let's think about some other things that you can reflect on and that you can give feedback on to those that you're hearing present. Script. Have they got a good script? Have they thought about what they're going to say? And how are they prompting themselves? Use of script, cue cards, making sure they're not perhaps spending too much time looking at the script, that they're using that eye contact. And that can be defined by how they've produced their script, i.e. are they just making sure they've got the bare essentials to prompt them as they go through the presentation, rather than focusing on something they need to read from. Facial expressions. Are they being expressive? Are they engaging with their audience by the way that their face moves, the way that they're expressing their emotions and their thoughts about what they're presenting on? Are they too stern? Are they off-putting? Are they too neutral so that it doesn't engage? So think about how you can engage with your face and watch people when they're presenting to you about what could be improved about their way they're using their facial expressions. Voice. Really important, obviously, when we think about presenting, about how our voice comes across. So as an audience, can you hear what's being said? Is it clear? Can you hear them properly and clearly? Are they using good diction? Are they using the full dynamic range of their voice to make sure the presentation is engaging and not just sending you to sleep? Are they using pauses, or are they filling them with those all too bad filler words, ums and ers? But are they actually making sure they've got pauses in what they say? Time for them to breathe and time for you to reflect on what they're saying. How's the speed of their delivery? One of the things that so many people struggle with when it comes to presenting is the speed of delivery. It's too fast, and so as an audience we struggle to take it in. Can you help them by telling them when you were struggling with the speed with which they were presenting? Posture and hands. When we're presenting on stage in particular, it's important that we're relaxed and we're not looking too perhaps leaning on the lectern too much, or gripping onto it for dear life, perhaps to show that we're relaxed on stage. Are we moving around too much in such a way that it's just distracting if we're just sort of pacing backwards and forwards? Are we perhaps shuffling or fiddling around with things too much? Or are we using our posture and our hands to help enforce the points that we're saying by using our hands to emphasize a point? Less easy to do when you're on camera because you get this effect of hands popping in and out of frame. So perhaps something to be a bit more careful of. But overall, are we using our body language and our posture to help express our presentation? Is that something you've noticed when observing and that you can feed back on? Crucially, of course, there's some content to our presentation. Is it attention grabbing? Is it structured? I.e., do we feel during the presentation there's a beginning, a middle and an end, and that they're building through that presentation so we clearly know where we're going, how much perhaps time we've got left, whether they're going to get to the point today or tomorrow, all of that. So does it feel like we want to be listening, that we're guided through it, we don't lose our way, that it's easy to follow? Are they being careful of jargon, or are they using too much jargon? Are there too many words or things that they're using which you'd need to be an expert on the subject matter to understand? And if you're not, then they've created a problem for their audience. And does it cover the outcome that we're looking for? Have we got a clear outcome to the presentation? Do we know what we're supposed to be doing as a result of the presentation? Do we know how to do what we're supposed to be doing as a result of the presentation? So they've not just given us a call to action, but they've given us a way to take that action. They've made it really easy for us. So really think about the content and the way that they're presenting it and the way that that comes across, and whether we know what we're supposed to be doing as a result of the presentation. That's a really important area to feed back on. Finally, visual aids. Most people will have a PowerPoint presentation. Is it distracting? Is it easy to read? Is it hard to read? Do they spend too much time reading from that presentation? All of those sort of things that we need to think about. So make sure that their visual aids are a help and not a hindrance, that they're integrated into what they're saying and not a distraction. Make sure as well that it's easy to read. They're not perhaps blocking the view, especially when presenting on stage. It's easy perhaps to walk in front of the projector, to walk in front of the screen that it's presented on. Are they making sure and conscious of their space on the stage and where they are in relation to their presentation? And of course, that all important looking back at the screen. Do they avoid doing that? Are they making sure they're looking at you, the audience, and not back at their screen? So that's all areas that we can help people when we're watching their presentations, our peers, feedback to show them, what was good about their presentation or what could be improved about their presentation. So as the weeks go on, as we're learning about our presentation style, as we're each posting our different videos to the community on that, then let's make sure we give good feedback and help people. As a little extra tip, these are the things that I will be looking at when marking your final assignments. So it's worth really focusing on these in terms of your presentational style, because if you can get these right, you will really help your final mark in your presentation. So really think about your delivery and how you're ticking the boxes in all of these areas.